All right, we're joined by Charles Rosa, who's got a big fight upcoming at Fenway Park. Charles, how's it going, man?
Oh, great, man. Couldn't be better, man. Just got back from the gym, drive to Miami every day to get some work in with some of the best. And, I'm here now. So I'm excited for August 29th.
Obviously, shirt says it all. Boss is drawing, like a Boston guy, like to get the call to fight at Fenway Park. Like, what was that kind of like for you? Like, obviously, imagine a dream come true, but probably not even a dream because who really thought they were going to be having fights at Fenway?
No, no doubt. It's such an iconic venue. I mean, it's really hard at this point, to get me that excited about something. I've been around the world, from Tokyo to Las Vegas to, the O2 Arena in London, where I have the most all-time wins, but this is something that I didn't think anything could get me as excited as some of those fights. But this is it, man. I mean, you got the wheels churning, you got me excited, and I'm excited to make a statement at the iconic venue at Fenway Park. I grew up in Peabody, right down the street from Fenway, and it's just really a dream come true.
Like for you, kind of when you got into fighting, like was TD Garden kind of the main thing for you? Like, you didn't ever think like Fenway was going to be an option?
Yeah, like I mean, I have the record for most all-time wins at TD Garden. I'm like, man, like nothing could top that venue. Like I grew up as a kid there, watching the Bruins, the Celtics win championships shit there, all the banners and everything like that. And I'm like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I've done it all. But then when they announced this Fenway card, I was like, maybe I haven't done it all, man. There's still more left, and I still got more left in the tank. So, this got me excited, and I'm excited to make a big comeback and, add to my wins in Boston.
See, the last couple fights have been bare knuckle. Like, as you did the game bread, which is the MMA stuff. Like, what kind of intrigued you to try the bare knuckle stuff?
Really, it's just like, I'm a prize fighter. So I like to fight for the biggest opportunities, the best opportunities, and I want to be the best. Obviously I had a great time, 10 years fighting in the UFC. I fought in the best of the best, from the Yair Rodriguez's, the Bryce Mitchells, and all the guys in between. And, it's something that I love, and it was true and near. And then, I was able to win a couple world titles, after leaving the UFC at Foxwoods. I got to win the CES World Championship for MMA. But like I said, it's kind of whatever gets me excited. So there was a big game bred bare knuckle tournament came up, and it was big prize money, $500,000, and I got to compete in that. And now I get to go and fight for BKFC. I mean, they've been ringing my name for a little while now. They've been trying to get me to come. It was kind of one of the things that I was like, man, this might be one of my, like, in my head, I was like, this is kind of like as real as it gets. You're taking the gloves off, you're taking away all the in between, all the holding, all the wrestling. This is just straight violence, man. This is the as real as it gets, as they would say. And to be able to come back, and I've been in plenty of street fights in Boston growing up as a kid, and I just look at it like that, man. It's another banger, man. Gloves are coming off, and I'm excited to shine.
It's been a bit since you fought in Boston, and then it's like, what do you think that you mentioned you kind of lived right by Fenway? What do you think that crowd reception's going to be like for you?
Oh man, it's been amazing, man. The people have been blowing me up for tickets, and obviously all this stuff, all the people and the kids and the people I grew up with. I grew up there, and went to high school. All the people I went to high school with, my family members. You get Rosa Nation in attendance. My mom and dad each have 8 brothers and sisters. I got like 60 cousins, dude, and all of them and their friends are coming. I went to Providence, Rhode Island. I went to Johnson and Wales and graduated from culinary school there. So I got my college friends, and man, it's kind of just come full circle moment for me, man. It's really special to be able to put on a show for everybody that saw my journey.
And pretty crazy card, like Joe Lozon's coming back. Like, did it get a
Yeah,
big pop? Like, what's it like when you saw that name added to the card?
man, it just adds to the value of the card, man. It's like, sometimes with these fights, you kind of want to see, big names and people that put seats in the, put people in the chairs. And Joe Lozon is one of those guys, man. He's an absolute legend from Boston, and to be able to have him, fighting on the card along with a bunch of other guys, like Pete Barrett's, the Rico DeShulos, some of the biggest, best names that ever come out of New England, fighting on the card is really special. And on top of it, we got I think the featherweight championship of the world on the line, the title's on the line. So, I mean, this is a big fight, a big card, and, BKFC is doing big things, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Your opponent, like obviously not as big a name as you, like have people you kind of look at his record, like he's just down to fight. Like he's one of those guys that'll just fight whoever, wherever. Like, what have you kind of made of him? Like, I assume you probably looked up, like, probably hard to see a lot of stuff. Like, what have you kind of made of his fights?
No, I mean definitely. I mean, Sharon Spain's a dangerous opponent. I mean, the thing is, when you take these gloves off, it just takes one punch in the right spot. So I respect him. I mean, the guy's had almost 100 fights. I mean, this is a guy that stepped into the ring over 100 times with the best guys in the world. I mean, you look at some of his losses. He has losses to Bobby Greens, UFC champions. Some of the best guys, and I think he's game. He comes to fight, and I'm gonna be ready for him.
Obviously, you did the bare knuckle MMA. Like, how much do you think that'll help just transitioning to like the pure boxing and kind of knowing what it's like to throw without the gloves?
Oh, definitely, man. This is 100%. This is gonna add, to it. Um, I've been fighting. I've always fought. Like I love combat sports. Everyone's like, "Oh, what's your favorite thing? Jiu-jitsu? Is it boxing? Is it MMA? Jiu-jitsu?" Like I love everything. I love combat sports, and I'm very competitive. So I really just love competition. So whatever the rule set is, I have to adjust to it. Of course, I'm training boxing now strictly. I'm not doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling classes and all that anymore. Strictly boxing. I found a beautiful gym, Young Tigers Foundation, with the longtime coach LT Gray, who's training some of the best BKFC fighters. He got literally BKFC, like he has boxing classes specifically for bare knuckle boxing. So, I have to make the extra drive every day, an hour to drive to Miami in a 100-degree hot, sweaty gym in Miami. And, but, it kind of brings me back to my roots and takes me out of my comfort zone. And I really like that. And that's what I need to do. It feels like the Rocky style training.
I've talked to a bunch of UFC fighters have gone to BKFC and they kind of said the training kind of it'll help prolong their career just doing like BKFC. Like, do you kind of feel that where you're not getting that wear and tear of doing like the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and camps and stuff?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, 15 years at a American top team with the best guys in the world, wrestling every day, jujitsu every day, putting that wear and tear on your muscles. It adds up, But this is very smooth. You know what I'm saying? I get to really focus on the one thing, and it's my hands, and it's something that it takes a lot less stress in the body, and it's more enjoyable. It's fun. Like I know what I got to do every day. It's hard work. You sweat a little bit more in boxing, I feel like, but this is I've been through the toughest of the tough things. I mean, I don't think there's much harder, than fighting a 15-minute, 5-minute round MMA fight. And this is going to be 5 2-minute rounds, but it's going to be nonstop action. So I'm excited for it.
And then for you, like obviously bare knuckle, like it's easy to break hands. You don't want to land on like the forehead and stuff. Like, is that something you kind of have to like learn? Is like you can't just be throwing these reckless punches like you do with like if you have gloves on.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood. I mean, I've been fortunate since, man. I've had over 50 fights. I've had, 4 bare knuckle fights, and I even had a BKFC Ice Wars hockey fight. I've been in dozens, of fights in my life on the street. So I've had pretty good luck since, and you got to aim for the soft spots. You got to aim for the chin, and I mean, these hands have been, have been battle tested since I was a little kid, man. So I feel like they're crafted for war. So I'm gonna be ready for it.
I didn't want to get into the ice wars. We'll do that in a bit. But with your fight, like, how do you kind of see this one playing out? Like, kind of showing you have the power. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot without gloves. Like, how do you kind of see it playing out?
Yeah, man. I actually defended my last MMA world title with one of the best knockouts in my entire career. It was a beautiful, overhand left hook to the chin, and I knocked the dude out. And it was one of the best feelings. Like I have a lot of wins in mixed martial arts, but a lot of them are submissions. So like I've really over the years, because kind of you said like we can only wrestle and do jujitsu so much before your body starts just aching. So I've been really focusing on my stand up and my hands. I get to work with Roger Crawl, my coach from here, who's been amazing over the years. And I just like really have fallen in love with boxing and in my hands. And there's nothing better than getting that feeling of touching someone in the chin and putting them to sleep. It doesn't top that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock this kid out from the second the bell rings to the second it ends. I'm fighting and I'm trying to knock him out. And I'm pretty confident I'm going to get it.
Just 2 minute rounds. Like, probably feels like a sprint to what you're normally used to. Like, does that change the way you can kind of be a bit more aggressive and kind of be on the front foot a lot?
Yeah, I think that's the way I fight. I'm always aggressive. I got 3 fight of the night bonuses in the UFC. So like I'm always coming, I'm always fighting, I'm always there in your face and fighting my ass off. But I've been noticing, and one thing I've been training is just, keeping my hands up, and no matter the range, because it's close range fighting. So, you keep your hands up, protect your face. Even the littlest knuckle that gets through can cut you. So, You really gotta focus on hands up, moving your head, chin down, and I think I'll be good, man. I've been through this a few times.
For you, like you've had a lot of accomplishments, like obviously most wins at TD Garden, like you a bunch of UFC wins, bonuses and stuff. But like, where would a win at Fenway kind of rank for your career, like highs for you?
Man, I think it's the tip of the iceberg, man. I just think that it's another, hopefully be another feather in my cap, and I just think that, like I said, man, I really thought I did it all. Fought all the way from, like I said, from Tokyo to Saitama Super Arena to Las Vegas to the TD Garden to, I mean, to O2 Arena in London. I've done everything, and I was like, well, I mean, everyone always says to me, "Oh, Charles, when are you going to keep fighting? What are you going to do?" And I said, man, as long as opportunities like this are still there and still presenting themselves, I'm going to still fight. And like I said, I'm a prize fighter. I love this sport, and at the end of the day, I get to do what I love, and I get to provide for my family. I have a wife at home. I have a baby girl, Bella, 1 years old, and I have a baby, Charles Rosa Jr. on the way. He's due September 20th, so I'm hoping he doesn't come early before the fight. But everything's on track, and the stars are aligned for me to, continue doing what I love, and hopefully I can stay healthy and keep putting food on the table for my family.
Just two more things, like you kind of mentioned prize fighters. Like, is this just a one-off with BKFC, or like what is kind of next? Is it just kind of where the biggest money or kind of the best opportunity comes from next?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. That's it. I signed a one fight contract with BKFC, and I love Feldman and Sergio and my manager Lex for this opportunity. It's one of the greatest opportunities I've ever had. It's so iconic to be able to be fighting here. But like I said, I'm a prize fighter, so I just want to be fighting at the biggest venues, the best places, and continue to enjoy my career and do what I love. So that's what I get to do, and I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Final thing, I'm Canadian, like I'm like an hour north of Toronto. The ice wars, I gotta talk about it. Like
Yeah.
obviously hockey fights are unreal in the NHL. What was that whole experience like for you? Like I'm obviously kind of a bit of an odd one, but like what was that like for you to be part of?
Yeah, man, dude. Charlie Nama and Ian Heinisch with the BKFC Ice Wars. I got with them right when I heard about this. I reached out to them and got a good jump on it right when it
Yeah.
started. And I was like, man, this is literally like what I am. Like I love hockey fighting. I love combat sports. I played hockey in college. Like this is I can't even believe they have this. This is what I want to do. This is the answer. And man, they actually just made their debut on ESPN last night. I got to watch it. It was really, really special to have them being shown on ESPN. And the ESPN shared a video. It got like over 6 or 10 million views or something like that. And I think it's something that is going to be the future for me and something that you're going to see me a part of and continue to do. And it's great people behind it. It's a great idea, a great concept, and it's something that I love. And you'll see me do it again.
Well, Charles, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Thanks, Cole. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, we're joined by Peter Barrett, who's back in action here at Fenway Park. Peter, how's it going, man?
Oh, dude, I am so excited about this Fenway card. I mean, everything's coming together right at the right time. Like, everybody has those weeks in the training camp where you kind of feel like shit. And I got that out of the way really early here. So everything's just, hitting in the right direction.
Like we'll just kind of start right there. Like going to BKFC, I know you've done it a couple times now. Like, is that something you enjoy now more than MMA, or is it just kind of the opportunity? Like, how did this all come together to go to BKFC?
So the BKFC was always kind of like a bucket list. I wanted to make sure I wanted to try it before I hung it up. And it's really like lit this fire inside of me to keep pushing with the organization. And, the first time I did the bare knuckle was a game bred fight. I fought Charles Rosa. That was insane. And then we got an opportunity from BKFC shortly after that. And I jumped on it. I just, I didn't want that one BKFC, the one bare knuckle experience that I had to be a loss. And I'm like, let's go see what BKFC is about. We did the game bred, we did the bare knuckle MMA. Now let's go see what the bare knuckle boxing is about. And this fighting style is just like catered to me and
Mhm.
my aggressiveness and the way that I fight. And it's just it's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And I've talked to a bunch of UFC fighters that have gone to bare knuckle and stuff, and they kind of say the training is actually prolongs their career, which they were surprised about. Like, it's not like obviously you're getting hit bare knuckle, but like not having to do wrestling, jujitsu, all those injuries, they feel like they can
Yeah.
fight longer. Is that kind of the same with you, where it's like you're not kind of constantly like in pain or battling injuries?
Yeah, and I think Mike Perry kind of alluded to this when he was talking about getting ready for the Diaz fight. You know, when you're doing bare knuckle boxing, you're kind of taking a little bit of the things that you like from the other disciplines that translate over, but you're really just focusing on your boxing, whether that be your footwork, your punches, you know, how whatever. But you're only in this one discipline where when you're getting ready for an MMA fight, you want to get your boxing and you want to get your kickboxing and you want to get your wrestling and you want to get your jujitsu in, you want to get your strength and conditioning and any other, you know, not fringe martial arts, but anything else that influences your style and your system, or any specialists or coaches that you want to work with. You really have to like paint with a broad brush in MMA. In the bare knuckle boxing, we can dig a deep, deep hole and just go and get better at this one skill set. And then, so yeah, it definitely takes a lot of the wear and tear off the system. That being said, I work for Joe Lozon. I'm one of the coaches at Lozon MMA. So I'm still teaching a bunch of kickboxing classes. I'm still teaching a bunch of jujitsu classes. So I haven't taken it out of my daily routine, but there's not the emphasis to make sure I'm getting those things for myself, you know, making sure I'm getting the MMA rounds, meaning making sure I'm getting my jujitsu rounds, my wrestling rounds, all this. Right now, it's just the boxing that I'm primarily concerned with, outside of what I'm doing in the gym already. So it definitely frees up a bunch of time to focus on the bare knuckle boxing.
I was gonna ask you about it later, but I can still ask you now just because you brought him up. Like Joe Lozon back on the card. Like, what's that like to share a card with him and to see him come back?
Dude, this is insane. You know, since I moved over to Lausanne's, I think in 2017, so just uh almost 10 years ago at this point. And um, you know, we didn't really have a relationship before that. We just knew each other through fighting. He thought I was a big pain in the ass. He hated me, didn't want me around his gym, just, you know, didn't know me personally, just took me for who I was in the community. And now we're great friends. I coach at his gym, I teach a bunch of the kids' classes. And he's always been in a position where he's giving back to me to get me ready for a fight. Albeit there were the two Cerrone fights that didn't come to fruition, that I was a part of those camps. But now we're both getting ready to fight as teammates, not as a coach in a fighter role. So it's really cool.
Did he kind of talk to you about bare knuckle like before he signed and came back? Because it is obviously a bit of a leap to go
Oh,
into bare knuckle.
I'm pretty sure he told me I was retarded at one point or another when I told him I was thinking about bare knuckle. He's like, but you know, Randy made his debut, which Randy Costa is another Lozon
Mhm.
guy, and he did really, really well with Game Bread. And he's like, you know, honestly, if you're gonna do something else, this is probably right up your alley. So run with it, have fun with it. And you know, all they had to do to get Joe was tell him he could fight at Fenway, and he was like, I don't care what the discipline is, let's do it. So it's been a lot of fun.
For you, like I imagine when you got into fighting, you never thought Fenway was even an option. It's probably like TD Garden and stuff like that. So to get when you got the call to fight at Fenway, like what was that kind of like? I imagine like a dream come true, but not really a dream because like I feel like you didn't even think it was a possibility.
Yeah. So, quick side story about that. Local company Cage Titans, they did an event in the beginning of January or end of December, beginning of the year. We'll put it that at MGM Live, which is this music venue out behind right field.
Hmm.
So they sold it. Hey, we're fighting at Fenway and MGM Live. It's out there. It's right, you know, right in right field. It's going to be this big opportunity for the company, for all the fighters on it. And that night, my younger brother fought on the card. So I'm there warming him up in the same room that we did the press conference in. And in between warming him up and going outside to, you know, cool off, for lack of a better term, I'm out there looking from right field, looking right down, going, man, the only way I can one up these guys is if I fight out there. And I don't know how I'm going to pull that off, but we need to figure this out. And like 2 months later, Joe's like, hey, did you hear about Fenway yet? I'm like, what do you mean, did I hear about Fenway yet? He goes, well, they're trying to get me in the company with a fight at Fenway. And I'm like, I call my manager. I'm like, if they try to sell me Mohegan and Fenway's happening, tell them I'm going to I'm going to leave the company. Like I'll pack my bags and go somewhere else and fight. If Fenway's happening, I have to be there, and I'm going to sell a ton of tickets, and I'm going to make an impression with the organization when we do it. And, you know, I have friends at the state level. Just, I mean, I've been in this community for over 15 years at this point. So I have friends throughout the state, and they're hearing the whispers, and they're telling me, hey, they're already at the point planning this thing where it's probably going to go through. So get ready to fight at Fenway. This is going to be nuts. And that's just been the whole attitude, the whole fight camp. Like, this is absolutely mind bogglingly insane, you know, and everybody's excited for it. The fans are excited for it. The casuals are excited for it. Like, you know, I'm just shy of $30,000 in tickets right now, and that was my goal. And I still have 2 weeks, so I think I can blow that goal right out of the water here. And it's just like everybody's excited for Fenway, I guess is what I'm trying to articulate here.
Where are you guys like in their like clubhouse center? Like, how does that kind of work? Like the walkout and all that stuff at Fenway. Do you know that yet, or is that something you're gonna kind of see fight week?
So when we were at the press conference, I was kind of, chopping it up with the guys behind the scenes, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. So the way it's going to work out, we'll be warming up underneath the bleachers. I don't know how that's going to be set up, but they're going to walk the fighters out of the visitor dugout, down the warning track, and then right up into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So if I remember correctly, the same setup that they had for Sturgis this past weekend, the outside event, is going to be the same thing set up inside of Fenway. So the ring will be covered. There'll be, in case it rains, we'll have that covered to make sure that we can still fight. So it'll all be staged out, but it's going to look really cool. It's going to look awesome.
And then your opponent here, and Elijah Harris, like, did I imagine for you, like, it really didn't matter who, as like you were just gonna say yes no matter what when they said Fenway, like the opponent didn't matter to you.
Yeah. So, I don't know if it was my manager or if it was them, but before we had Fenway set up, we got like a list of names like, hey, would you guys be open to fighting anybody on this list? Let us know, because we're going to be putting some things together. So we need to make sure we have options. His name was on that list. There were a couple other guys on that list, and I said yes to all. Like I said, any of them, let's go. We'll take it. And that was before the whole Fenway thing happened. So when they came back with one of the names, I'm like, oh, cool. I already looked into this guy. I've seen who he's fought. He just fought Rico in March when they did their follow-up event after their Christmas event. So I have a lot of relevant film on this guy that I can study, or that I have studied. So it was a great matchup for the fight.
And you kind of look down his record, like something I noticed before when I was looking at him. Like, he's fought a lot of guys that go on to the UFC. Like, the record obviously doesn't look the greatest. And you look at the losses, like, he's not a guy that's scared to fight these top guys. Like, is that kind of pose some danger where he's kind of like been fighting these high level guys and he doesn't really back down to anyone?
No. Pike, the kid I fought last, I think is going to, hopefully I don't eat my words, right? But I think the guy I fought in my last outing with BKFC, Tony Pike, is a much more difficult opponent than what am facing in 2 weeks. And as we go, as you look through the list of who Elijah Harris has fought, last night, Tom Pags fought like a madman on the Dana White Contender Series, got a contract. He fought Elijah Harris, I think, a year and a half ago at Combat Zone. So it's just like you said, he's fighting these top level guys, but he's never on the winning side of fighting these top level guys. So yeah, he's got balls, and he can back it up every once in a while. But when you break it down, the film on him, he's a very beatable fighter.
And then bare knuckle, just the 2 minute rounds. I feel like that kind of plays into your aggression a lot too, where you can just go pedal to the metal for the whole 2 minutes. Like, is that something you've kind of enjoyed too? Is just like the short rounds?
Totally. So, in any MMA guy is going to give you this breakdown. So we're fighting 5 2-minute rounds. That's 10 minutes of fighting. Normally in MMA, 10 minutes of fighting, you only get 1 minute in between.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've prepped for title fights, and I've fought with my foot on the gas for that's like 35 minutes with the rest included on a 5-round fight, taking it to a major decision. I'm not afraid to fight hard. I'm not afraid to put my foot on the gas. Like, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And I'm going to be in your face until you drop.
With this one, like, how do you kind of see it playing out? Like, obviously you have a ton of confidence. You kind of showed your power lately. Like, how do you kind of see this one playing out?
Highly calculated violence. And that's something I always come back to. Is it a general term? But when you watch me fight, you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, it doesn't matter what I need to do. I'm going to make those decisions once we get in there, make the adjustments, and close the gap between the two of us and put him down. If you look at his 2 wins with BKFC, they're right off the bell. He comes in with a big 1-2, and he caught the dudes just looking at him. His other fight, not Rico, the third fight, I think that was actually his. Who cares? One of the other fights that he lost. outside of Rico, maybe it went into the second round. So that gave me a good look, but he comes out hard, he comes out fast, and he's got a fragile chin, but he gets dropped a bunch. I think Rico dropped him like 8 or 9 times before they called the fight. He got dropped 3 or 4 times in the other fight that he won, or the other fight that he had lost, and then his 2 wins again, like I said, right off the bell. So there's not a ton of the bare knuckle footage of him succeeding working his game plan against anybody. So like I said, I'm doing my homework. I'm breaking down the film. I don't think he's going to pose an issue. He's going to come out hard. He's going to come out fast. Get through that, and the kid's going to be toast. I think fighting as a right-handed southpaw, my lead hand does a lot of damage. My opening fight, I sat old boy down with a big stiff jab. I think that's going to be much of the same here.
I was actually talking to Charles Rosa the other day, and he was saying kind of how much Fenway means to all you local guys. He was saying like this probably means more than winning in the UFC at TD Garden for him. Like, is that like, would winning at Fenway, like that be like one of your top career accomplishments for you?
Oh, absolutely. So when I got signed, not to keep going back to the UFC, but we're talking about TD Garden. When I got signed into the Contender Series, the goal, that was kind of with the stipulation to put me on the Boston card, which was at TD Garden the last time Joe fought. And I don't know, it wasn't my camp issue, but we weren't getting offered fights. We weren't getting offered opponents. We reached out and they said, hey, we have 3 guys that we're trying to match for that event, and they were all top 15 guys in the world. And I'm not taking an entry-level UFC contract to go fight somebody that's going to make $250K. It's a bad business decision. And I had some injuries from that fight that were kind of lingering, so it didn't work out. But I've always looked back at that TD Garden fight like, man, I really should have just pushed through it and got that fight to fight in that big local arena. Something better's working out now that I fight for BKFC. Fuck TD Garden, man. I'm fighting at Fenway. Like, give me a break. This is something that nobody's done. Nobody. They've done plenty of UFC. They've done plenty of events at TD Garden. Nobody's fought at Fenway like this. Not the way that it's going to be set up. Not over home plate. And definitely not a bare knuckle boxing match. So this is like the ultimate like badass thing that you can do at Fenway is bare knuckle boxing. Like, there have been plenty of unsanctioned fights when the Red Sox played the Yankees, whatever. This is sanctioned. This is going on for real. And people are here to watch us fight. Like, this is going to be incredible.
And you're obviously in the sport, you've kind of seen the rise of BKFC, but like, what do you think it means for the promotion that they're kind of the first? Like, it's not like the UFC or like one of these other major promotions that was bare knuckle that kind of was able to get Fenway done.
Yeah. And like, hats off to Feldman for that, because he's really, he gets an idea and he goes after it. This whole thing was probably like a fever dream at one point for him. And then every next event it gets closer and closer to being that big time show that he's trying to build. And, he's really good at what he does. And I'm not like, I am surprised, but at the end of the day, am I really surprised that it was BKFC to pull off an event at Fenway? No, because these guys are out there, shaking, moving the industry, trying to get things restructured a little bit, open up these opportunities. I mean, they're doing a cruise in like 2 weeks or in September. I don't know. There's a BKFC happening. Like, who would think that you could go get on a cruise and watch 2 nights of fights and have the opportunity to then go sit at the pool with these same fighters, right? It's just some really cool, incredible stuff that they're up to.
And then for you, like, you get the win here, 3-0 in bare knuckle. Like, where do you think it kind of puts you? Like, are you starting to think of getting one of these title shots pretty soon?
Yes, I am. And it's one fight at a time. I always want to handle what's in front of me. But Rico's a fight in front of me. He's already got that 3rd win with them. He's starting to bark for a title fight. Especially if when he fights here, that'll be 4 for him. He's that 1 fight ahead of me. So like, I can just look at his blueprint. I'm like, when he starts barking for a title fight, I can start barking for a title fight, because he's run one fight ahead of me. And I have 1 fight left on my initial contract, and when we renegotiate, we can put stipulations. Hey, if he wins 2 fights, he gets a title shot. If he wins 3 fights, he gets a title shot. So I want that recognized, and I want that in the contract when we go sit down and sign a new one. But I definitely want to make a run for the belt. And what would be the coolest thing, to get the belt, defend the belt, and then all things going in the right direction, keep defending the belt, but retire a world champion. Like, I just turned 40, you know what I mean? And I know I'm not, necessarily the oldest guy in the company anymore, but my shelf life at 40 to the other big promotions, they want nothing to do with me, no matter who I beat. You know what I mean? I rattled off, I think, like 6 or 7 finishes at Cage Titans. UFC wanted nothing to do with me. BKFC said, get that dude over here. He's destroying people. We want him. So, I want to give back to the company as much as they've given to me. And I think by becoming a world champion, I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because I thought when you and Joe fought, I thought like whoever won that was going to get back in to the UFC, and I was kind of surprised that neither of you ended up getting in. Like that kind of catch you by surprise.
So I'm too. Long story short, I just think I'm too old, and they don't care about older fighters, and I don't think no matter what he does, he'll never fight in the UFC again.
Yeah, that's true.
No matter what.
Like,
no matter what, he could have beaten me and gone on a 3-fight winning streak. They wouldn't have signed him.
Just final thing for you, like kind of mentioned last fight deal, you want to resign. Like is bare knuckle kind of home for you now for the foreseeable future? Like, kind of where you want to be.
Absolutely. I think I'll finish my fighting career with this company quite successfully too.
Well, Peter, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I love coming on and always think of me when you need someone.
Yeah.